Here we are with another update. Let's just hop right into it. Okay, so I'm just shooting off the cuff and I'm going to try to reduce the amount of dead air and I want to utilize the words that come out of my mouth to in an efficient way because that's the practice that I want to continue to develop. Not counting everything I just said leading up to now. Starting now. Hollywood Squares. Um, so it looks like I'll be premiering in the first rebooted episode of Hollywood Squares at the very beginning of 2025. It looks like it's going to be the premiere date of January 9th, 2025 on CBS. I filmed this a couple months ago and really great experience. One that I wasn't really allowed to talk about due to the fact of the confidentiality of taping something and then having it premiere later on in the future. But they started promoting the show's return. I believe this past week, they started announcing it on various television outlets, on the internet, things of that nature, and they've been using my face and likeness, my name, as part of the promotion. Specifically, there's an interaction that has been showing up on the television between myself and Tiffany Haddish, where we kind of have a little back and forth flirtation moment that really starts off the episode. And really cool, really cool. People are recognizing me from it, and I don't know. It does make one think as to what it means to be in proximity with celebrities and how people perceive that. Me personally, I have always kind of had this idea about myself that there really is no one superior to me so far as idols or icons or role models or heroes. My aim is to tell a story and leave behind a legacy that is equivalent to the greatest heroes to have ever walked the earth. And that goes for Jesus Christ, Bruce Lee, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali. The list goes on. I mean, I think those are pretty great fucking names if you ask me. We can add Arnold Schwarzenegger to that. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good list. But my aim is to exist in that stratosphere of excellence and greatness. Like, that's where I'm going. How do we get there? How do we get there? First and foremost, self belief is vital, 100% vital. I couldn't imagine doing what I'm doing, moving through the world in the way that I do, and reaching the height that I have in mind for myself without that first component of having the highest level of self belief that I could actually achieve it. If I were to remove that and have this desire of existing in the upper echelon of great individuals, I should also add Alexander the Great. He's far before my time, but I'll also add him onto the list. But if I didn't believe that I could achieve such feats within my lifetime, man, I don't think I could accomplish them. Now, there is a story. Mike Tyson, who is regarded as one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, he used to say that he would have nightmares before stepping into the ring to face his opponent. He would be scared of fighting his upcoming opponent, and then he would step in the ring, and all of the fear would kind of melt away. So there might be something to that. Personally, I don't really see the value of being fearful. And that's no knock against Mike Tyson. Whatever he did, he utilized the fear and turned it into like it was a constructive fear that he was able to utilize correctly and pummel his opponents in a very effective way. So kudos to him. But yeah, different strokes for different folks. Me, I don't see the point in fear. I want to present myself as a highly confident individual who believes in my own talents and abilities, and I am very interested in honing my talents and abilities to an even further degree. Age 33 now, and I have been doing this whole project, the natural bodybuilding movement, and this documentary for a year now. A year tomorrow, actually, with Thanksgiving right around the corner. This time last year, I was alone for Thanksgiving in this house, in this very house, and I had already met Valley Muscle, and I had already gone to Zoo Culture. I'd been going for like 2 weeks, and I had started formulating this plan of actually reshaping the fitness industry to my liking. I saw the way that this industry was being perceived so far as their overemphasis on really nice physiques achieved through the use of performance-enhancing drugs. And I saw the hypocrisy of that so far as the fact that the fitness industry is supposed to promote health and wellness, yet the physiques that are lauded as the ones that we should desire are typically enhanced physiques, which is not conducive to the longevity that health and wellness is supposed to promote. Keeping that in mind, I was like, all right, this needs to change 100%. And just to provide some clarification, I always knew that I came to LA to be a movie star and take over Hollywood as a producer, a writer, and a storyteller to tell a very overarching story of our generation, humanity's current generation, the generation that I exist in, and for future generations. I aim to tell the story of how, through the proper leadership, we were able to evolve as a species, reach a higher level of consciousness, and develop higher ambition and self-belief through the display of one individual who leads that charge to the best of his/my ability. And I knew that I was going to have to tell this story for the very sake that, as far back as I can remember, I have always been very passionate about the concept of people realizing their own human potential. And what I've discovered within, over the course of my lifetime, I am starting to suspect that I see greater potential in a person than they see in themselves. So, for example, if a person were to come up to me and say, and this will likely happen in the future, Shaun, I want to work with you because I want you to realize my potential. And I will ask them, okay, well, tell me about your potential. Where do you see yourself? What do you think that you're capable of becoming? What do you think you're capable of achieving? And they will line out what they think that they can do in their lifetime. I'll hear it. I will assess their core strengths, their passions. Over time, I'll be able to understand what their weaknesses are. And then from that, I'll be able to basically put together my own concept of what their potential is. And it will be far greater than the idea that they have in mind for themselves, if they just had the belief and the notion that the thing that they can't imagine themselves being capable of doing or becoming, it's right there. And all you have to do is see it. You just have to visualize it. And then you do a reverse engineering and you walk yourself back from the steps that are required in order to achieve it. And we use me for the prime example of how this method works. My ultimate goal is not to go down in history as the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time or to be a movie star, or to become the king of Hollywood. My ultimate goal is world peace. I want to end all conflicts within the world. I want to solve world hunger. I want to create the highest level of collaboration across all countries, religions, you name it. I want to stop fights from occurring. I want to create a reality where everyone is working towards the same common goal. Saying it out loud, I can only imagine the amount of people that would come up with arguments as to why this cannot be achieved. And I'm willing to hear those arguments and put them, catalog them into my brain and work to address each argument on my own time. It does not change the fact that I believe that I am capable of achieving it. It does not change it. I think that as a species, a conscious species, we can do so much more just by working together and with the proper amount of self-belief. Like I said, it's two things. First, believe in yourself, and second, believe in the value of collaboration. And if we were to bring those two things together at the highest level, man, the things that we as a species could achieve would be outside of our own comprehension. It would be outside of my own comprehension. And I am the most ambitious person on the planet. And it would still exceed my own vision. And that's why I am working so adamantly towards this goal, because I want to see what it looks like. Me personally. I want to see what that fucking reality looks like, because I'm trying to get my mind blown while I'm here. So to circle back, Hollywood Squares, perception. People love to see winners. They love to give a thumbs up to successes. The little peek that was provided of me interacting with Tiffany Haddish, that was a good pop. Once the episode airs, it'll be an even better pop, just because it's pretty much the entire episode me just interacting with celebrities and looking like a celebrity myself, which I'll be able to use to my advantage as I continue to promote my own brand. On that note, I have been thinking about how to optimize this opportunity that Hollywood Squares has given me with the additional exposure. At the beginning of this year, 2024, I experienced a viral moment on Instagram where I got 2 million views from a video of a kid approaching me at Zoo Culture and asking me if I'm Shaun Fury. And that video went viral. And I went up to about 64,000 views, or 64,000 followers in the span of like two months. I lost some of those followers in the ensuing months due to an error in content, where I made a video where I was talking about how much I truly enjoy intimacy with women. And it was like part of my podcast. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I guess what I hadn't learned yet is that once the algorithm picks up on who you are and what your content is all about, then if you want to keep the algorithm going, you have to keep doing the same thing that you went viral for, which I did not do. So that really screwed it up. And then moving forward afterwards, the algorithm never really kind of balanced out, even though I kind of resumed the type of content that I was making that I went viral for. That's neither here nor there. I still have received a whole lot of opportunities in the past year that I am incredibly grateful for. And next year, like I said, we get to start off next year with a good pop so far as the Hollywood Squares episode premiering, and I aim to capitalize on it in the most effective way possible. Let's talk about that. So, this time last year, came up with the idea to do a documentary on natural bodybuilding and the rise of it. And we decided to tell this story as seen through the eyes of its two star athletes climbing the ranks, Shaun Fury and Valley Muscle. This is a year since I conceptualized this idea. We have competed twice, placed well in the first one, placed relatively well in the second one. The competition was higher at the second show. We were competing for our pro cards. We did not get them. In between those shows, we have made connections, forged a bigger network within the fitness industry, and overall expanded our own platform and told our story in a compelling way where we have received an outpour of support from our followers and overall just general goodwill saying, you guys are doing it. You guys are doing it. And we are. Fantastic. That's year one. At the start of this whole thing, I estimated that this would be about a 3-year project at the very least. Maybe 4, maybe 5. It's always, for me, working towards a fantastic ending, specifically for this documentary, but it applies to everything. One terminology that I learned in the past year, and I've used it already, is kayfabe, and that's really used in WWE wrestling terminology. Kayfabe is layered reality, and it's the concept of selling the finish. So when I think about the finish for this particular documentary, I think, what is the best finish that we can get to within like the span of a minimum 3 years, if not 4 or 5? Well, one finish is me competing against Valley Muscle in Classic Physique Division, either for our pro cards, which, I mean, that's not a terrible ending, or we're both pros and we're competing for the title of who is the best IFBB natural pro. Who's that person? That's an option. That's another cool option. Or you have a third option where we have assembled the top natural bodybuilders / fitness influencers onto one stage. And now we are all competing for that title of the Natty King. And the names that pop in my head, Swole Ricketts, Josh Manoe, Shizzy, myself, Valley Muscle, D. Wilt, just because he's part of the team, and maybe some additional just top natural athletes just to add further legitimacy to the competition. Just because the people that I initially listed, they're more known for their fitness influence and what they've done on social media. And yes, they all have fantastic physiques, which is why I would want them on stage at the same time. But the buzz, the prestige, the recognition that they would bring as a result of everything that they've done leading up to now, so far as their content is concerned, that would add legitimacy to the actual competition. So that's like one of 3 finishes that I see in mind for myself. The lowest of the low, which I still think is a good ending, is me and Valley both competing for our pro cards at the same time, and one of us has to walk away with the pro card. That's one ending. Another ending is that we're both already pros and we're competing against each other again. No matter what, the ending has to be I'm competing against Valley Muscle. That's got to be the ending. And then whoever else is involved, we can incorporate them. It doesn't really matter. We can figure that out as we get closer to the date. What needs to happen on my end in order to make sure that that dream is realized is I have to continue training legs intensely, because I am still stuck in men's physique division, and I will be here for at least 2, if not 3 years, in order to develop my legs to a better level so that I can get out of men's physique and compete with the big boys in classic physique and maybe even ultimately open bodybuilding. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, this year has gone swimmingly. When I first went viral, I asked the question out loud. Valley was in the car. I said, how do we start monetizing this? His response was, you're trying to hop into that way too quickly. You gotta let this marinate. Let it come to us. Let the money come to us. That's what he said when the virality first happened back in January of this year. Okay, I waited. I was patient. I took a second to assess what this actually was. And it's good. However, the one thing I did learn is the money did not come just because we were making content. So there is a further step needed in order to generate revenue from our platforms and this story. My plan for 2025 is to use the momentum that will be achieved from the release of the Hollywood Squares episode as a springboard to jump into the new year fresh and with a high level of exposure. With that exposure, I will be launching a celebrity training program where I will do a rebrand, referring to myself no longer as a documentarian or a natural bodybuilder. I will now be a celebrity trainer, a natural bodybuilding advocate, and a future GOAT. Future GOAT in what, you may ask? Future greatest natural bodybuilder of all time. That will be my rebrand with celebrity trainer at the front of it. The reason for that is so that I can actually start generating income in the thing that I have branded myself as. I am in the world of fitness and health and wellness. I am a natural bodybuilding advocate, which is to suggest that all improvement sought out can be achieved in a natural way. And I'm here to help with that. Being a celebrity trainer just means that I am more recognized for my passions and my training and skills than a non-celebrity trainer. That's the only difference, as seen on Hollywood Squares. I'm not going to. Yeah, we can get into that. All money that comes my way will be reinvested into this project. So it will be reinvested into the celebrity training programs, and it will be reinvested into the documentary of the rise of natural bodybuilding and training, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to do a big media blitz at the beginning of 2025 once the episode airs, reaching out to as many news outlets, talk shows, podcasts, as many as I can put on one list. I will be sending out a press release to those places, letting them know, hi, my name is Shaun Fury. I am the newest, how do I put this without giving too much away? My name is Shaun Fury. As seen on Hollywood Squares with the first episode being premiered, I am a natural bodybuilding advocate and celebrity trainer, and I would love the opportunity to hop on your show and talk about the experience with Hollywood Squares and the project that I'm working on so far as the natural bodybuilding movement that I have generated within the past year. So that's the press release that's going to be sent out to anywhere and anyone with the intention to hop on their platform and continue to promote what it is that I'm doing. I came up with this idea because when I think about what it is that we're doing And the coolest thing, there's nothing new under the sun. Anything that you've ever wanted to do has already been done, besides what I'm doing, which is world peace. That hasn't been achieved yet. But once it's done, then you can replicate it. But anything and everything has already been done. Arnold Schwarzenegger made bodybuilding popular through his documentary, Pumping Iron. Yet before Pumping Iron came out and during the release, he was actually promoting the sport and himself and the documentary simultaneously through news outlets, media coverage, hopping on talk shows and letting people know who he was and what he did and his life, the sport, the film. Check it out. Pumping Iron is really cool. I'm the Mr. Olympia. What's the Mr. Olympia, you might ask? Well, the Mr. Olympia is the top prize that the best bodybuilder in the world gets to achieve. And I've been winning it for the past several years. This is my 5th time winning it. And that's what the documentary is all about. And I'm the shit. That's basically what Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing. He was hopping on talk shows and saying all of that. And as a result, because of his great physique and charisma, Pumping Iron blew up, bodybuilding blew up, and fast forward, I don't know, that was back in the 1970s, so fast forward 50 years, and bodybuilding is what it is today, for better or for worse. For worse, because steroids have become far more excessively used than it was back when Arnold Schwarzenegger was around. The gear has improved, and as a result, the physiques have gotten bigger, a bit blockier, in my opinion. And overall, there's more of an emphasis on mass monsters than there ever was back in the golden era. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger did have the biggest physique, but it was also a lot more aesthetic than the current enhanced athletes. Now, you can talk about the classic physique division, but the very reason that they installed the classic physique division was to try to emulate the success of the golden era bodybuilders. So, you know, you can't really, if you're trying to emulate something, you're already kind of, in my opinion, you've already lost. That's just how I feel about it. You're trying to replicate something, but you can't capture originality. You can only just pay homage to it. Natural bodybuilding hasn't really been touched yet. It is a new venture into the sport and the world of bodybuilding and the fitness industry. And by the time that I'm done, it will replace enhanced bodybuilding as the worthy successor to it and being the most important sport to represent the fitness industry. That's the whole plan. And that will be accomplished not just through having fantastic peak physiques, which is something that I believe only a natural athlete can achieve. An enhanced athlete cannot peak their physique. There's an asterisk. To use enhancements to achieve the best physique possible, now you are an enhanced athlete. You are an enhanced bodybuilder. And so you can go through peak week, but you're still using steroids as an enhancement to reach that quality. So I'm not going to get into it too much because I really don't care what enhanced bodybuilders do or don't do. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm more interested in the realization of human potential without the use of external sources. In fact, if there's any kind of message that I'm really trying to promote, not just through natural bodybuilding, but through my entire lifetime career of, aspiring for greatness and reaching your peak physically, mentally, and spiritually, is that the concept of self-reliance is the only way to achieve a realized version of yourself. That's the only way. A realized version of your own potential and the limitless potential that actually represents. If you rely on outside sources, whether it be performance-enhancing drugs or other people, if you're relying on other people or other things to get you to become the best version of yourself, then you are not the best version of yourself. If you are relying on other things to become that person. It's just that simple. Alternatively, if you invest in your own abilities, your own skills, your own struggles and triumphs, and you reach your final destination of becoming that master that you are capable of becoming, and you did that all on your own, yeah, maybe you took some advice from mentors and things of that nature, but you went through it and you reached that final destination on your own 2 feet with your own self-reliance being the thing that you can give credit to your success for. That is the truth of realizing your own human potential. Anything else, I don't have anything to comment on. Yeah. Yeah. Furthermore, I suspect that through the leading example of what it is that I'm preaching, whether it happens within the next couple of years or decades, people will start to have a grander concept of what they are capable of achieving in their single lifetime. And that's why I'm doing it. That's the only reason, because I think we as a species that have the ability to think and project into the future are really shortchanging ourselves with the things that we're accomplishing on a day-to-day and a life-to-life basis. And I aim to change that just because I want to see cooler shit done. Instead of focusing on what the other person is doing and comparing yourself to another average individual, what is the most above average vision that you can see for yourself? And let's find out what you have to do in order to reach that destination. That's all this is about. Yeah. I think that about covers it. Let's see. We talked about what I want to do at the beginning of 2025, the rebrand. From there, we're going to see what kind of opportunities present themselves after the premiere, and I want to be incredibly proactive and seek out additional opportunities. My goal is to be a millionaire within the next 2 to 3 years. Or to put it more concrete, I want to be a millionaire by the time the documentary is finished. And I want to have the primary source of income come from my pursuits within the fitness industry and entertainment industry. Yes. So that's going to be my focus for the next couple of years. Making that transition from generating income from having a day job into generating income from my pursuits in the fitness industry and the entertainment industry. I will do whatever required in order to achieve that transition and have it be as smooth as possible. That means more content, offering my services as a celebrity fitness trainer, going back into acting, modeling, exposure, just overexpose. I am the next big thing to both industries, the fitness and the entertainment industry. I am the next big thing. I am going to surpass Arnold Schwarzenegger so far as the impact that he made with his bodybuilding career and transitioning into Hollywood. I am a more talented person than Arnold Schwarzenegger is. Love what he did, and I love the legacy that he created, but I am more talented than Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I can surpass him, and I will. Scripted content. Scripted content is definitely something I am not anxious to start because I want to do it the right way. So I am constantly working towards those opportunities where I'm able to tell this story in a scripted format across. I know that YouTube is going to be big, and just this past, like within like the past 48 to 72 hours, it even occurred to me that I could even do an entire show on YouTube, and I wouldn't even be that upset about it. Because when I think about it, if my aim is to be a millionaire by the time the documentary is released, then I'm not making content for the purpose of becoming a millionaire. I'm already a millionaire. So that means I could release a documentary on YouTube. I could release a web series on YouTube. I could do a feature length film on YouTube if I wanted to, because the purpose would not be to hop on Netflix or Hulu or Prime with the intention of becoming a millionaire through that revenue. Because, like I said, if the documentary is released after the fact of becoming rich, then we don't have to do anything for the purpose of getting more money because we've already created a formula where the money is coming in no matter what. And that's honestly the preferred method in my head, just because I don't have to. I don't want to beg. I don't want to beg. So as long as I'm able to create the content that I want to make with as much freedom as possible, if Netflix wants to work with me, if HBO Max wants to work with me, if AMC or Hulu or Prime wants to work with me, I want full creative control, then we can work together. But if not, then YouTube is not as bad as I initially thought it was, because you can still generate a huge following on YouTube. You can blow up your platform, and you have 100% say over the content that you get to make. So right now, I have 1,000 something followers or subscribers on YouTube. If I put all my eggs in the YouTube basket so far as scripted content is concerned and the documentary, yada, 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 we could scale up to a million, 10 million, 12 million, 20 million subscribers over the course of this bodybuilding and entertainment career. We absolutely could. And then it removes the necessity to promote your content on other platforms such as Netflix and things of that nature. So, there's that. As long as the content is good, as long as it's quality, as long as it's presented in the way that I want to, then I care less about where it shows up. As long as it's accessible and properly promoted. Yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to rush the scripted content. However, every single day I'm always looking for scenes. And, if you write your life like a movie, then you'll be amazed as to how many scenes become cinematic, especially when you're doing it with that intention. Like, I don't find myself in conversations that don't add to the narrative. And like I said, if my ultimate narrative is how one man saw a vision for world peace and did everything in his power to achieve it, then every single scene in my life leads to that destination. Every single scene, every conversation, every thought, every movement leads me closer to that goal. This is how you're supposed to do it, guys. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is how you make life more fun. Have a super lofty goal, the biggest goal imaginable, and then everything you do, everything you think, everything you eat leads you to that destination. That's how to receive the most amount of stimulation. Otherwise, you could do the alternative and you're just living day to day with no real intriguing thoughts in your head, going on social media and consuming trash content, or looking at your peers or your contemporaries and seeing, oh man, I feel some kind of way about the content that my colleague made. It's just not the way to live. It's low vibrational. It's low vibrational. But I'm going to change all that for the people that want to be changed. I'm not going to force anything. This is not manipulation. This is just leading by example. And my example is we can do far greater things than we ever thought imaginable. And I will make sure that you receive that message. All right. I think I've hit everything. Shit. If I think of anything else, I'll come back. Let me think. Preparing for the world stage. Preparing for the world stage. We're on the cusp. We are definitely on the cusp. The momentum that I've generated this past year, I am looking to triple it next year. I want to amaze myself with how quickly I can ascend. And the reason this works in my head is because world peace is such a difficult and lofty goal that becoming a millionaire within the span of a year, becoming a billionaire within the span of 10 years, pales in comparison to the achievement of world peace. So any success that I experience between now and the final goal, it can't mean much because the final goal has not been realized yet. I definitely celebrate my little successes because it just means that I'm still on the right trajectory. And it's good to understand that. It's good to see, okay, this success, let's say on Hollywood Squares, will lead me to this next success, and this next success will lead me to that next success. But it's a small victory, and I am looking to win the war. And I will not celebrate fully until that war is achieved, until that war is won. Until then, we can have our moments. Things are going according to plan. Thank you for watching. I'm so glad that I have this platform. And honestly, I'll be honest, the fact that I only have like 1,000 subscribers on this is very chill because I'm going to keep practicing everything that comes out of my mouth so that by the time that this particular platform is bigger, geez. Yeah, we'll be good and ready. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.